Please join me in welcoming Senator Rick Scott. Well, good afternoon. As the guy in the video said, great nations don't automatically last forever. Writing about Rome, historian Will Durant said, "A great civilization is not conquered from without until it has first destroyed itself from within." Great civilizations that have collapsed or been conquered by a foreign adversary were first hollowed out from the inside. We Americans are the most spoiled people on earth. We have been given such a great heritage, and we're taking it for granted. The founding fathers of our country, men like George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and James Madison, men who are now considered to be evil racists, according to the top scholars in America's most elite universities. These men have set us on a course for success the world has never before seen. We survived the War of 1812, World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and the Cold War. But now today we face the greatest danger we have ever faced. The militant left wing in our country has become the enemy within. Let's do a quick situation report. The militant left has seized control of our economy, our culture, and our country. When you turn on the news at night, do you even recognize the country you see? Are you worried for your family? Are you worried for your freedoms? The woke left now controls the Democrat Party, the entire federal government, the news media, academia, big tech, Hollywood, most corporate boardrooms, and now even some of our top military leaders. They are working hard to redefine America, silence their opponents, and that means you. They're destroying just about everything they touch, and they have their hands up out on everything. Here's what they're trying to destroy: American history, patriotism, border security, gender, traditional morality, capitalism, fiscal responsibility, opportunity, rugged individualism, Judeo-Christian values, free speech, law enforcement, religious liberty, parental involvement in schools, and even private ownership of firearms. The woke left wants all of that gone. They want to end the American experiment. They want to replace freedom with control. The elites in the government are telling us what we can and cannot believe, what we can think, and what we can do. They want to control our lives. In their new socialist America, everyone will obey, and no one will be allowed to complain. If you do speak up, boom, you're going to be canceled. Your views, if they don't conform to big tech, or Fauci, or Neil Young, well, you're going to be taken off of Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. The militant left in America today are the modern-day version of book burners. Canceling, silencing, and banning you from the internet is book burning. These are the most narrow-minded, intolerant people our country has ever seen. And they're remarkably ignorant of both world history and American history. Socialism always leads to two things: poverty and oppression. We know socialism is not a new idea. It's one of the oldest, dumbest, and most discredited ideas of the 20th century that resulted in 100 million deaths. Yet these Democrats who have no idea how the real world works are acting like they just invented socialism. The modern wacky left Democrat has never read George Orwell. They don't know they're making his predictions come true. Let me be clear. What the militant left is now proposing is not simply wrong. It is evil, and the results are always evil. Now, the Biden presidency has brought us one new thing. It successfully merged radical left-wing policies with gross incompetence. That's hurting people. It's hurting families with rip-roaring inflation, empty shelves, dangerous invasion of our border, drugs and criminals marching in every day, escalating spending and debt, the inept withdrawal from Afghanistan, left-wing indoctrination of children in public schools, and murder in our communities. Criminals are not being prosecuted, but police are being executed. All this makes you stop and ask, Is this the beginning of the end of America? Well, it could be, but only if we allow it. So here's some good news. The backlash is coming. The opposition is building. Americans in flyover country have had absolutely enough of this woke, elitist nonsense. We want our freedom back. It's actually time to rescue America. The American people are going to deliver a complete butt-kicking to the Democrats this November. But after we win, then what? That's what I came to talk about. If the Republicans return to Washington's business as usual, if we have no bigger plan than to be a speed bump on the road to America's socialism and collapse, we don't deserve the government. In Washington, we don't just need new majorities in the House and the Senate, we actually need a new plan. So I released an 11-point plan to rescue America. It's got 128 specific policy ideas. I'm a business guy. I believe the hour is late for this country, and we simply must have a plan. But we can't just say, oh gosh, we're going to do our best and hope it all works out. If you want to turn something around, you make a plan, you make big changes, and you don't do it in 5 years, you do it today. So you can go to rescueamerica.com, you can read the entire plan, but let me just mention a few points. The plan calls for every child in every school to say the Pledge of Allegiance, stand for the national anthem, and learn that America is the greatest country in the world. The plan calls for a complete end to racial politics. Look, the government shouldn't be asking us what our skin color is or our race on any government forum. We're all made in the image of God. To judge a person on the color of their skin is absolutely immoral. The plan says we're going to treat socialism as a foreign adversary, and we're going to use all force to stop it from destroying this great country. The plan calls for the end to our economic relationship with Communist China. We must extract ourselves from dependence on Communist China and stop buying their products. They want to destroy us. They want to destroy us, and we cannot rely on them for anything. Now, pharmaceuticals, computer chips, TVs, clothing, cheap toys, any of the crap. Here's what's going to make me even less popular in D.C. The plan calls for term limits. Not just for politicians, but also for government bureaucrats. We've got to eliminate the permanent ruling class of Washington that thinks that our government belongs to them. The plan makes some terribly controversial points such as men are men, women are women, there are two genders, and science confirms that unborn babies are human beings. The plan calls for a complete end to voter fraud and for protecting the integrity of our elections. But Democrats know they can't win with their crazy woke ideas, so they've got to rig elections and institutionalize voter fraud. And we're never going to allow it. We must declare an end to the foolish soft on crime policies. They're just destroying our cities and killing innocent Americans. We must fully fund the police and teach our kids that the police are the good guys and the criminals are the bad guys. Finally, nations have borders. We're going to secure a border. We're going to build a damn wall, and we do it. We're going to name it after Donald J. Trump. We've got a lot of other ideas. But you all know what the critics of Washington are going to say. They're going to say I'm not woke enough and I'm not serious. They'll say I'm racist in some way or the other because that's what they do when they disagree with you. Look, Washington's full of a bunch of do-nothing people who believe that no conservative idea can ever happen. Nothing will change for the better as long as they're in charge, and that's why we're going to get rid of them. Some Republicans are going to complain about the plan. They'll do it with anonymous quotes, some not so anonymous. They'll argue that Democrats will use it against us in the election. I hope they do. My response is bring it on. We should have no fear. I have no fear standing up for what I believe in to rescue this country. It's a kind of old thinking that got us exactly where we are today, where we don't control the House, the White House, or the Senate. I think it's time for us all to get serious. It's time to have a plan. It's time to execute on a plan. I believe we're going to win this fight. I think freedom is worth fighting for. I think this country is worth fighting for. So I hope you'll read the plan and give me your ideas. Look, there's going to be things in there you might not agree with, and that's okay. Give me your ideas. Certainly things we can change, and we will. But this is not the time to be timid. This is the time we need to be bold. Our nation's future can be bright. we've got to have a plan to take this country back. The fight to rescue America from socialism is all of our fight. The fight for freedom is the fight of our lifetime. We cannot allow ourselves to be controlled by the Democrats, by government, by the elites, by anybody. We must and we're going to prevail. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thanks so much, Senator. I'm going to get to a question for you right away, but first want to introduce my friend and colleague, one of your friends, our Executive Director of Heritage Action for America, Jessica Anderson. Please welcome her. So being a Southern guy, Senator, I would usually start with ladies first, but there's a pressing question I have to ask you about your plan, and it's really because you and I share at least a couple of attributes. One is our haircut. That's what I keep telling myself, brother. And the second is that when confronted with a challenge, and this would be an attribute all of my colleagues at Heritage share, we just face it head on. And you've gotten a lot of flack from the left and the right that, quote unquote, your plan would raise taxes. Right. Take it away.
Sure. Well, first off, I'm not going to raise taxes. But we've got Democrats who are lying about the plan, and we've got Republicans that are parroting what they're saying. First off, let's look at my background. I'll put my background in Florida. People are excited. They're excited. They're excited that somebody has an idea what they want to do. Right? And it's what Jessica said. People are scared right now. They're really worried about our country. They're actually, this is the most anybody's ever said they're worried. I think in my lifetime that people have said this. So people are excited that somebody has a plan, and I've been very clear. I don't expect everybody to agree with everything. I expect to have a conversation. I'm fascinated that people will just say no. We don't want to have a conversation, or they'll lie about what it says. It doesn't make any sense to me. But that's why we are where we are. We have, think about it, we have a budget. The budget is $5.8 trillion. It's like, you know how you compromise up here? You spend more money. So there's a day of reckoning. When I became, people forget this, that I'm very optimistic about where we're going. So stop and think about this. When I became governor of Florida, we had lost 800,000 jobs in 4 years. More people left Florida in 2010 than moved in. Home prices dropped 50%. I had a $4 billion budget deficit. So it's sort of the same. We had a pension plan underfunded. So it's sort of the same problems we have here. All we did is we went every day and tackled it. We can do the exact same thing here. But you can't do it if you don't say, I have a problem, how am I going to fix it, and go do it. So my goal is to get a conversation going so when we win in November, we are hell-bent on getting things done. It's going to be, and that's what people want. It's fun. You're welcome to come. Because I'm doing them all over Florida. I'm doing this year, we're doing Orlando and Tampa next two. But it's fun just to talk to people. You should be governor of Florida, by the way. I shook hands with 500,000 people. Did you go to Chick-fil-A with me? Half hour.
That sounds like a Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, because everybody, I got to talk to everybody. All the kids knew who I was. It's a ball. And you can excite people about where you can go. I'll tell you one last story. I used to go to schools. Right? My wife went to more schools than I did, but I'd go to schools. And I'd start off by saying, I just wanted to let you know, I don't know my dad. I never met him in my life. I said I was raised by a single mom who eventually remarried to a guy with a 6th grade education. I said we lived in public housing. And so then he got these people to teach me. I said, how many of you want to be governor? Right? Well, maybe 1 or 2. Johnny's going to be governor, something like that. So then I said, here's the deal. You get to live in the governor's mansion. You go to the state capitol. You get a big office. You can meet the president. You can meet kings and queens. Get pizza, ice cream throughout the day. You have Secret Service. I said, how many want to be governor? You're all going to be governor. Right? I said, here's the deal. You have to study really hard. And you have to go get a job. You got to get a job as early as you can, and you got to start with it. That's how this country was built. It's always built. Very few people grow up rich. They grow up with opportunity. I have 7 grandkids. The biggest thing I can give them is a
country where they have the same shot at the dream as I have. You never guarantee success. I tell my daughters, you'll never try as many things as I did because I had to. But thank God I had that opportunity. That's what I want. That's the country I want back. And that's the country I'm going to make sure we get back.
A powerful reminder, Senator, that in this world of public policy and politics, it really is about individual needs.
Yeah.
And really, really grateful
It's fun.
for you saying that. And your optimism, your enthusiasm about the future is infectious, so thank you. So as I said, it'd be great to sit here for a while, but unfortunately we can't. I just want to make a couple of notes to you in the audience, including online. Thanks for being here. I know that there are a lot of you in here who have quibbles with some of the senator's plan, with Heritage's plan. Some of you might disagree with everything. It's America, that's sort of the point. And what we want to do is facilitate a discussion. And just a reminder, which we try to live by here at Heritage, that civil discourse is not unanimity of opinion. In fact, it's the exact opposite. That healthy civil discourse is one where we can have conversations, have some differences of opinion. And on that point, it is so great to see so many members of the Washington Press Board. And I mean it when I say it, I have no sarcasm here. Whatever outlet you're writing for, publishing for, we're grateful you're here. You're welcome here every day. It's America. And on that point, we want to give you some courtesy, have the senator step out. Jessica and I will follow him. If the rest of you can just remain seated to give us time to do that, we'd be grateful. But please join me in thanking Senator Rick Scott and Jessica.